In our previous class, we have explained the chapter The Selfish Giant. The explanation was done. I have thoroughly explained the chapter. Now in today's class, the question answers will be done. The question answers will be given at page number 58 in your Oxford books. I am not going to dictate or give you the exact answers, but for the sake of your convenience, I have given some hints in the shape of the pictures, which you can easily see on your whiteboards. Now let's start reading question number 1. How did the giant show his selfishness? As you know, it was a story of a selfish giant. So in the question it is asked that how did the giant show his selfishness? By which act? किस एक्ट से उसके पता चलता है कि वो एक खुदगर्ज़ था. So there is a hint I have drawn. This is a picture of signboard. What he did, the giant put up a huge signboard with the caption written over it, the trespassers will be prosecuted. Trespassers, those who enter without permission. बगैर इजाज़त उसके बाग में दाखिल होने वालों के खिलाफ he will legally charge them. So in your answers you have to write by yourself that the giant put up a huge sign. By this note, the trespassers will be prosecuted. But not only this, he also built huge walls around his garden so that no children would be allowed to enter. I hope I have explained and you will be able to write it by your own. Now come towards question number 2. When did the giant realize that spring had returned to his garden? Now as you know, when he didn't allow the school children to enter his garden, then what did happen? All of his garden became empty and the spring season wouldn't come back. But one morning, what he realized that the spring season had returned back to his garden by the perfume of lovely flowers. He would smell the lovely perfume coming from the blooming flowers and the song of birds. Okay? So this will be the answer of number 2. Now question number 3. The children ran away when the giant came downstairs. Seeing the giant, what would you have done had you been one of the little children? Explain your answer. क्या आप सवाल में पूछ रहे हैं? अगर आप उस बाग में, if you are one of those children who ran away from the garden of that selfish giant, what would you have done if you suddenly saw him in front of you? अगर आप अचानक उस देव को अपने सामने देख लेते, what was your reaction? That would be asked in question number 3. Now in the answer I have drawn the picture of a running child and you can write like this, that yes, obviously being a child I would run away also because I would not want to hear the scold of a giant and I would become frightened and would run away suddenly after seeing the giant. Okay beta? Now move towards question number 4. Had the giant not helped the little boy, how differently might the story have ended? Write your answer in detail. अगर giant जो है वो उस little boy, as I have explained it thoroughly, then you will able to know कि जब उसने उस little boy की, which you can see in answer number 3, that little boy who was the only child, he can see in his garden that if he would not have that little children, what would happen? All the trees, this is a picture of it, a tree, and this is by the blue color I have shown the snow. All the trees are covered with snow and there was no leaves, no greenery out there, no flowers out there. So that would be the result of that giant's mistake, that if he would not realize his mistake, that he was on mistake, then his garden was remain like this. The trees would seems to look like this, as the tree it is covered with snow, it is very dry, lacking leaves and flowers. तो ये आप अपने आंसर में लिखेंगे, ठीक है बेटा। नाउ द लास्ट क्वेश्चन, हु वाज द बॉय एंड व्हाई डू यू थिंक ही रिटर्न? दैट बॉय, दैट लिटिल बॉय हु इज द main role in the whole story. The leading role is of giant, and when the giant turned from bad to good by this one, this was the turning point. This little boy who seems to be an angel, जो एक फरिश्ते नुमा मालूम होता था, he sent downstairs to make the giant realize, उसको भेजा गया था ताकि रियलाइज हो, अंदाजा हो उस देव को that he was on mistake, and he would again ask the children to come back, to return back to his garden and again started playing. So beta, the answer of question number 5 you would explain like this, I think the boy was an angel and he would send downstairs to make the giant kind, generous, and he would totally change. The drastic change came in the giant's personality. From selfish he turned to kind, from cruel also he turned generous, and okay, and he took him to paradise as a reward. So that is the all about your question answers beta. I have explained in detail and I hope so that you will be able to write the answers in your English copies. This work should be done. This is all for today's class, okay? And these 5 question answers, that's your today's task, your home assignment. You have to do question answers of our chapter, The Selfish Giant, by yourself.